What's up, guys? Welcome to Locker Room Logic. I am your host, Matt King.
And I'm your co-host Charles Cannon, and this is Locker Room Logic, and this is where the sports meets the culture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today's episode, we understand, NBA started last night, but this episode, we got college hoops for you. There's a lot of big names in college hoops this year. You got the Boozer twins. We got Kyan Anthony, Bryce James. We got all these guys, bro. So start it off.
Bryce James is a big name, but that's not big play, my guy.
he not,
First of
bro.
all, how you gonna forget the biggest name?
Who the biggest?
AJ DeBanza,
A-Day
bro.
the Banter. He did. He was
Bro,
going off for BYU.
BYU legend already. Let me
All
stop.
right,
Let me
all right,
stop. All
all
right, you
right.
go first. You go first.
All right, so first, I definitely want to touch on UConn. UConn and the Big East. They got a lot of good transfers, and a lot of guys stayed. Solo Ball, Alex Caravan, the two leaders on the team, along with Terrence Reed. They're gonna be the leaders this year. So hopefully they have a good year. Um, and also with that leadership and winning two championships with those leaders, they could really do some damage in the tournament as well as the conference. The Big East has gotten a lot deeper. Teams have reshaped, redefined their team. So I want to give the Big East respect because it's like one of the oldest conferences with basketball tradition. On top of that, we have gotten at UConn three top recruits and freshmen. We got Braylon Mullins. We got um I forgot the other dude's name, but Braylon Mullins. He went off in the Boston College exhibition. So Coach Hurley, he plans on integrating him fast in the offensive game plan. So hopefully they know what they're doing. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, UConn historically is one of the greatest basketball, brand programs in the country.
yes sir.
Um, Last year, they didn't do too well in the
Mm-hmm.
tournament, but that's just due to their like that was their first time playing without Donovan Clingan, of course.
Yeah,
NBA prospect now, NBA player now, and this year I could see definitely UConn playing more of a traditional role this year. Like they
yeah,
always do. I don't
definitely.
think too many threes should be taken this year.
Nah,
Um, uh, I definitely feel like that point guard role is definitely heavy this year.
yup, yup.
Um, what else? I mean, I barely pay attention to college football, basketball now. Like, you should have given me a chance to lock in this week. I'm not gonna lie,
Nah, hey, I
but
mean it's all good. It's just a couple big names. UConn had got it in a transfer from Georgia last year. uh, Demetrius Styles Jr. He plans on being a point guard. So he last year what he did in the SCEC was, I think he was like top guard, like led the league in assists and stuff like that. Georgia obviously didn't do well in the NCAA tournament, but we got him, and that solidifies the loss for Hassan Diarra. And as far as threes, Solo Ball, I feel like should be the only one that's like taking the most threes. So last year the downfall was we had Liam McNeely. He was taking a lot of like deep NBA range threes. I felt like that was the downfall. Now I just want Solo Ball taking threes because he led the Big East in 3-point attempts and makes. So last year, this year it should only be him on the team. It should run through the big man, so Terrence Reed and all them. The offense should run through them. But Dan Hurley is a Hall of Fame coach. He knows what he's doing. So I'm just excited to see what's going on
yeah, yeah,
as a team, at least.
hmm And then
So
we got other prospects coming in new out east. Like you said before, Kyan Anthony.
hmm
You know, what position we played? Ford this
yeah,
year.
he's playing forward.
Ford, just like his pops, and I'm very confident in Kyan's game. He's very humble when it comes to playing.
That's true.
He play like he got to pay the bills, and that's honestly I respect that because you got too many guys coming into college and they're so quick to flex money
hmm
and outfits is like, what about your game though? And
Exactly.
Kyan Anthony, as you saw, he spent most of the offseason not only working out with his pops, working out with other NBA players, current, former. He's ready to take that next level into college. And I definitely do think, like his pops, he'll enjoy he'll enjoy his freshman year at Syracuse.
Facts.
He'll he'll definitely be a huge focal point of that offense. And honestly, I do think he'll probably do 2 years because going into this
Yeah.
2026 draft class, I don't really see too many big names this year,
Nah.
and I feel like since we're not seeing too many big names, it should be one of those names that should just take it easy this year. I'm not saying he's gonna have a successful freshman year like his pops did 20 years
Exactly.
ago,
Yeah.
but I definitely think he'll have a better season because he's more offensive rounded. He's a better
Yeah.
3-point shot, dribbling package is better. Um, he doesn't play as fast. He's more calm with his game, and then honestly, I think he got a little bit of playmaking in his game, as
He
you've seen
does. He
in high
does.
school. He's not afraid to share the wealth, let his teammates shine when it's time for them to shine. His defense is gonna be a little shaky because of how skinny he is,
Exactly.
but I feel like being in college at Syracuse, he'll put on that weight and then he'll be fine.
Yeah. I want him to stay more than like 1 year, mostly because of his weight and how skinny he is. I feel like he needs to gain that experience because the landscape of college basketball now we have is like grown men. It's like there's other 18, 19 year olds, 20 year olds, but um now there's a lot of transfers in like 5th years and 6 years. So he's gonna be playing against like grown men when it comes to it. So him getting that knowledge, whether he stays at Syracuse for more than 1 year or transfers to another school, another program, gaining that weight and getting better on defense is something like he needs to work on. Because like you said, his offensive bag is there, but on the defensive side, I didn't really see him in high school, but every highlight I saw of him in high school was offensively. So he needs to hone in on that defensive side of the ball, make sure like get stops and stuff like that. So he's gonna be good.
Because in college, defense plays a huge role. I
Yeah,
definitely feel like
exactly,
when it comes to that game, offense is definitely important, but like defense is what really does win
exactly,
championships. Because that's how UConn went back to back with
exactly,
Donovan Clean
exactly.
because of his defensive stature. And speaking of other freshmen coming in with solid defense, actually the Boozer twins,
Yeah,
you
yo, they
know
went off. I
they
saw the game. I think it was Cameron Boozer. He had like 33 or whatever, but he's nasty. He got an outside shot. He got an interior like post moves because his dad Carlos Boozer.
hmm
So and also he's doing it on both sides of the ball. He's I saw a play where he's all the way in the corner. His teammate takes a jump shot. He's automatically getting there trying to get the offensive board. So that's good. He got a motor. I'm excited to see what he does
Yeah,
now.
and then like most freshmen, he has been hyped to potentially be offensively better than Cooper Flag. That's what people
Yeah,
are
that's what they
saying.
say.
And with him being bigger than the average freshman, you can see why, like he's going after those rebounds, going
Exactly.
after stops, have a better defensive game because like you said, his dad is Carlos Boozer. You're
Exactly.
not going to be the son of an NBA player that was good at defense
Exactly.
and not know how to play defense. I'm pretty sure
Exactly.
he's playing more of the point guard role.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from him in high school, his vision is there. He definitely
Hmm.
has the potential to be a good college point guard. Um, I say just like Chris Paul in the terms of how he played at Wake Forest,
Maybe,
and
maybe.
you
I
know,
I think I want to say Chris Paul. I would say like so like he's playing a point guard role now, but I feel like once he gets to the NBA or gets to like his 3rd year in college, if he stays, he'll be more of like that small forward type, like the offense runs through him, but it'll be more so he'll be at the three along with another
no,
guard. Who's Cameron Caden?
Caden Boozer, yes,
Cameron
Caden,
Cameron was the one that went off.
yeah, Caden Boozer, the point guard of the two, and his brothers with the small forward,
Yeah.
bigger. He was number one prospect when Caden, I believe, was 15, 25, around that area, or he might have been lower ranked. But I know he was definitely highly ranked. But as you know, they in high school they won what 4 national titles,
Yeah.
4 national
They won four.
titles. You know, they say don't mix family with business, but that's a business that I'm willing to mix family with,
Nah,
and
for real, for real.
that's gonna be dangerous to see them in college together. Um,
I hope like they played a lot together in high school, like side by side. I hope they like the coach at Duke doesn't play them together and lets them find their identity, like difference.
who's the coach?
I don't know the coach of Duke no more. After Coach K retired, I just
You stop caring.
yeah, because mostly like they're trying to do that one and done type of deal when I don't like that because I feel like because just imagine the Bulls are twins with Cooper Flag right now. That's a national championship team.
That is a
So
national
Cooper Flag, I still feel like he should have been at Duke with the Boozer Twins because that would have been nasty. But a lot of the players that go in and out of there, they just it's 1 year and that's it. So,
championship.
but yeah, they're. I just want them to like find their identity, find who they are as basketball players, and that could like really help Duke in a sense, and because they haven't had the NCAA tournament experience since last year, so hopefully they go farther than what Cooper Flag took them. So
Yeah, and then in terms of player prospects who already do know their identity, AJ DeBanza, him
mm,
and BYU, looking solid,
you
looking
say
real solid.
Kevin Durant, bro?
No,
They
no,
saying they calling him
not
Kevin Durant,
no,
yo.
no,
That's
no,
what they saying.
no, no.
That's what they saying,
He's
bro.
not, bro. First of all, there's only one KD, and
Hey,
AJ DeBanza, if you want to be the next Kevin Durant, then you need to be more, humble or at least a little selfless. Cause I'm not saying he don't got a game. He's good. As you saw, he dropped 30 the other day. He's good. He has the talent. It's just now you need to actually put that into winning,
he
and
does. He does.
put that into wanting to be a better basketball player. We don't care how much money you make. We don't care about the chains, the watches, anything. We just need you to be a basketball player this year, be a student of the game, and don't let any outside distractions, affect you from winning. Because BYU hasn't had like a prospect like him in such a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like he can definitely turn that program around because we've had so much hope in guys like him, and they tend to fall off so fast. Like boom, um, what was it? Who's they calling KD a couple years ago? Dude that played dude that played for the Cavs G League team.
Oh,
Um,
what? Amani
yeah,
Bates.
Monty Bates.
Yeah,
They was calling him the next
yeah.
KD. You see how fast he fell off.
I
Dude,
say he only fell off because he did a 1 year when I feel like he should have stayed more years. Two, he did 1 year just to go to the cat get selected by the Cavs and go to the G League. So now he kind of put himself in that predicament. So where with AJ Devanta, I feel like I don't know. I kind of think he picked BYU because of the money. So it's because let's be honest, like nobody's going to BYU for basketball. Like nobody's going to BYU for basketball. So I feel like he doesn't because he dropping like 30 in these preseason games and all that. I hope he doesn't do this year, get all the recognition, all the hype, then transfer
mhm.
as soon as like March is over. I hope he just doesn't transfer, and then I don't want to see like his name pop up with like 5 different teams. I feel I want him to find a program and actually like learn how to play ball because obviously he got that raw talent. So I just want him to be like, all right, this is where I'm gonna like grow. This program is where I'm gonna grow and get all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Because just to bring up another dude that we all had hype in, Mikey Williams, Sacramento State.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had so much hype for him when he first got to college, and you saw how mm, just shitty
Nah,
his
yeah,
freshman year was.
he
Because he's going to his fourth year of college, third year of college
yeah.
now,
This is like his third, 4th year,
third, fourth year of
maybe even
college.
second
Had
year. I
so
don't know.
many off the court troubles. We're not gonna get into that because we don't know him personally what he went through. But
Yeah,
those off court troubles, hopefully he learned from that. And he I seen an interview with him the other day. He said he's trying to go to the league. He says he's trying to show people what he's capable of. And it's like this is your year to show us what you're capable of. You're
yeah,
20, 21, you know, and you had the skill in high school. You know, we don't know what happened to that. It's
Hmm.
like last year you had an underwhelming season, and
I wanna shout out to Sacramento State with Mike Bibby and Shaq is doing. Shaq is the general manager or something like that over there. Mike Bibby's the head coach. So shout out what they doing, man.
oh yeah,
Hopefully Mike Bibby builds a culture there, you know. With that being said, back to Mikey Williams. I want him like with all these kids. I want him to soak up all the game. You know what I'm saying? So like Mike Bibby is one of the greatest point guards, not greatest, but one of the great point guards that played in the league. So learn from your head coach. So don't try to be focused on after this year I'm entering the draft because we know what happens with that is when you enter the draft. Next thing you know, you a first round pick. Next thing you know, you drop to second round. Now you undrafted. So really, I want to see him like when I watch game by game, I want to see him improve every game. Because in high school, we know he could score, we know he could fly, but now let me see the playmaking, let me see the defense, because like I said, like college, no, is no game. Like it's not a game. It's grown men we talking about now. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
and then who's next? Who we got next?
Um, now we got. I want to go back to the Houston Cougars. They were in the national championship last year against Florida. Their defense is like the coach is one of the most excellent coaches because he plays that lockdown defense. And this year, they're projected to be even more, like even better. And I think teams should be should watch out for them because Houston, they're one of those teams that's like sneaky. Like you don't think they could be good, but next thing you know, they're holding teams to like 50 points a game. You know what I'm saying? It's they play fast on the offensive end, all while they playing full court press. So a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament, because I feel like they're gonna get there no matter what. They're always that team that's gonna make it. That's gonna be something to watch out for come March. So um, then the SEC is like it's one of the deepest conferences. I want to see what Florida does because they lost a lot of great veterans they had, and they led the nation in pace. So that's gonna be something to watch. And then yeah, so that's
Yeah, Florida was definitely, surprising last year because no one really projected them to go as deep as they did last
yeah,
year.
exactly.
And then and then with this year I know they definitely learned a lot, especially with what's his name again?
Walter Clayton.
Walter Clayton, yes. Boom. Walter Clayton had a great performance last year he was having great performances last year in the tournament.
Yep,
One of the best 3 point shooters in the tournament. My personal opinion, probably one of the best guards in the tournament in
he
terms
was. He
of
was.
just, not just shooting wise, hustle, defense. You could tell he's a humble dude.
He
And
is.
that's what they try that's the culture that they're trying to build in Florida. We play great basketball but stay humble at the same time. And if they can just, do that same and have that same mentality with losing, like you said, a lot of
Yeah,
older veterans and older students, but with that, instill that into the incoming freshman class. We're not asking y'all to, be great, just, show what basketball is, how it's need to be played, show it what it's meant to be played for.
exactly.
Don't let the winning or losing consume you. Just take each game day by day, and just go out there and play great basketball.
And what's gonna be interesting is to circle back to UConn. So they had the Big East media day, and almost every UConn player has Florida circled on their calendar. So that's gonna be something to watch when it comes. I forgot what date it is, but it comes. I think it's December 7th. It's when they play, and that's gonna be something to watch because UConn they're known to have great revenge games. Most likely solo ball. Solo ball. He said he circled it for sure, and he goes off when he has that hunger. You know what I'm saying? So Florida, they kind of got a target on their back, even though like how it always is. They got a target on their back, and I want them to. I want to see what they do. Just honestly. especially in the SEC. Like it's SEC is so deep when it comes to teams. Like there's like Auburn was good. Auburn is good. We got Georgia is still good. So just to see what how they handle the conference play, then also teams like UConn who have them circled on their calendar. You know what I'm
Yeah, and then this year, I definitely think there could be a couple schools that have like a Cinderella story, just like how
saying?
was it NC State last year?
Yeah,
Yeah, NC State had their Cinderella story, and then this year, um, maybe you could have teams, you could have schools probably like Oklahoma, um,
yeah. Oklahoma was
they
nasty.
but they had a nasty season last year. Hell, even another small school like St. Peter's.
Yeah, yeah. You always gotta watch out for those small schools. Like I know from my research, I was doing like a little bit of research. I know South Florida University. They had a good off season with the transfers and recruits and stuff like that. And recruiting is like easy in Florida, so it's like there. And then like the Florida Gators, also in the SEC, they're not really known for basketball. It's a football school, but they they have a good transfer class. Um, Kentucky as well.
Kentucky,
Kentucky
yes.
hasn't been that good since Calipari left. So they just been getting knocked out. And Calipari with Arkansas, what he did with Arkansas last year in the tournament, knocking out St. John's, that was something special because everybody had St. John's was like ranked number one, I believe. So for them to get not for him to knock out St. John's talks to his coaching ability. He's also a Hall of Fame coach, coached in the NBA. So to see what they do this year, they also have a chip on their shoulder because they feel like they could have went farther and possibly went to the championship game. So watching them is going to be fun. How he's always active in the portal too. So
Yeah, and then speaking of other schools, you got Memphis,
mm,
Memphis with Penny Hardaway.
yeah, Penny Hardaway, he's been
Penny
doing a good job.
Hardaway, he seems like he's a good coach, especially like he knows the game. He played in the league. Is as a I know as a great point guard, it's hard to teach basketball. It's hard to get your players to understand basketball, but he seems like his players really starting to understand him. Um, and then he doesn't have too high. He doesn't have the highest recruits, going there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he had who originally committed there? Mikey,
Mikey
right?
Williams, yeah,
Yeah,
Mikey
Mikey did
Williams.
originally commit there, and with that whole situation a couple years back, uh, I could see that Memphis is kind of straight away from higher names like that, and they're just trying to build a system that Penny could coach and just like just show what they're capable of because when you have like players that love the game so much they're willing to
Yeah,
learn from anybody,
exactly.
and I definitely believe Penny Hardaway definitely being one of the but like one of the first tall playmaking point guards
Yeah,
in NBA
like a
history.
prototype
He
of Magic almost,
Yeah,
basically.
prototype
Yeah,
of Magic. He could definitely teach them ways of the game that they never thought they'll learn, and he definitely has a vision, and I'm ready to see what that vision is this year in Memphis, and wish them luck this year.
yeah, nah, for sure. Memphis was supposed to be like a team because I believe when Mikey got into all that trouble, I believe all the recruits he brought in with Mikey like the uh re-announced or just like left or whatever. So they were supposed to have a team for like 3 years now. Um, but also going back to like Cayenne Anthony and AJ Dabanta, they also have to play. We were speaking of like coaches and Mike Bibby and all that. These are great coaches. So when they run into these teams like UConn, like St. John's, these are coaches that been around the block and they know what to do with a star player. So with those teams like Syracuse and BYU, they can't center the offense strictly around just their star player and give the ball to them because Rick Pitino, he's gonna like he's gonna like trap them. He's gonna trap them, get the ball out their hands, play physical. UConn is gonna play physical with them because that's what they did um, last year with teams like that. So I want those guys. They not also have to play against players that are stronger, bigger than them. They also have to play against coaches too, because remember the coaches are the guys on the sidelines using their heads, and they see the floor. They're not out there, but they see the floor, and they're gonna tell their team what to do, and everybody's gonna have a game plan against them. So I want them to not only like no, don't just go through the motions, but also use your head too, with them specifically. So
Mhm. What else? It's really more to talk about once the season really
yeah,
starts.
once the season really starts, we can really evaluate and see who's who. Um, but just to touch on like UCLA also had an active transfer portal. They got a lot of scoring. Um, we got Auburn. They lost Janai Broom. He was like a fifth year senior. They was active in the transfer portal. Like six, 7 guys are there now. Also with scoring and defense. So Alabama, like we mentioned, um, we got the Kansas and Creighton, who is my sleeper. Like I said, the Big East is very stacked from top to bottom. That's what every coach said at the Big East media day. And Creighton, they had a 7-footer, Ryan Kalkbrenner. He got drafted by Charlotte. He's now gone, but they also redefined their roster through the portal and through recruit. So me personally, I'm gonna be watching the Big East all college basketball because I feel like they're one of the deep. They don't have a lot of teams like the SEC because SEC is usually deep, but Big East has redefined. All those teams have redefined their rosters and are ready to compete. So Creighton, we'll got to watch out for Creighton. They're a sleeper. Um, Also Georgetown, Butler. They also got scoring and defense. So yeah,
Again, I don't got much to say. It's you just gotta wait for the season to start. I'm not gonna lie
yeah,
to really get into this.
yeah. I did. I want to touch on it. Like I'm a Big East fan, so I studied more so of the Big East teams and stuff like that. So we just gotta wait till the season start. UConn, I saw what they've been doing in the off season. They're prepared. They're ready to go. Um, and then AJ DeBanta and Cayenne, we gotta see how they turn out.
Yeah, honestly, I would say this year not too many big names going into going into college this year,
Yeah.
but as you
What
know
about
that.
Bryce James? What about Bryce
All
James?
right, if you want to get into Bryce James,
Bryce
let's get into
James,
Bryce
bro.
James.
Bryce
Bryce
James.
James is shitty,
Why you say that, bro?
bro.
Brown about to take us down, bro.
Bro,
Brown
Bron
not,
can do whatever the hell he want.
bro. Brown is about to
Bryce
cancel us.
James is not good. Like I see where like people where Arizona wanted to go and like it's he's a James, he has potential, he's gonna be good at basketball hopefully, but it's like as a dude in high school, senior year, average what 9 points a game on varsity off the bench, and you telling me he playing for Arizona?
Bro.
No. And all right, and what they had a scrimmage
Yeah,
game
the
a couple
scrimmage.
months ago. I
Yeah,
seen it, and his shot not there,
shot
gang.
not
His shot
there.
not there.
Hey
It's
man,
like we all when he was younger was like, oh, he about to be better than Bronny. He about to be better than Bronny. And not gonna
I
lie,
think they the
at least
same. I'm not
at
gonna
least
lie.
Bronny in high school was good. Like
Well, Bronny in high school only had 14 points, and he was a.
that's more than 9,
All
and
right, but
He started.
you gotta think though. He had 14 points. He was a McDonald's All American off of 14 points. When there's dudes that's averaging 20 points for varsity, leading the team and shit.
But hey,
So,
nepotism.
hey, that's another episode. That's another episode, yo. But I don't know. I ain't watched Bryce James. I just know his name and know his face. I gotta see. I gotta wait and see.
And then don't
Um,
get me started. Like what he a forward, and so like that's a strong position, especially in
yeah,
college.
in
And
college, playing the three is crazy.
he's a little frail, just like Kyan. But Kyan, he got the game to talk. He can do what he can do
Wait till you run
with
into the
no problem.
Bruiser twins,
But
bro.
like Bryce James, I don't think he gonna start. Gang.
I feel like he shouldn't start.
He definitely shouldn't
I
start.
feel like we need to go back to old college roots where it's like if you're a freshman, you're not coming in and starting for my program right away because we got guys that's been putting in that work since their freshman year and been starting since their sophomore year or started games in sophomore year. So like I feel like he shouldn't start just because his last name James. I don't. Same thing with Kanye Anthony. If he don't win off that starting role, he shouldn't start.
Yeah. But
That don't
at
mean he could
least
come off the
like
bench.
when it comes to guys, with between them two, Kanye has a better argument. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
know he
yeah,
can score. We know he
yeah.
can handle the ball. We know he can play make a little. Bryce James, I don't know what the hell he can do.
Yeah.
Like, and it ain't and it can't, and it ain't playing basketball.
Hey
Like
man,
I'm not gonna lie.
I
Like
do want to say this. Kanye Anthony did have, I think he averages like 23 points in high school, and he didn't make the All Star, the All American game. So I'm just put that out there. So
okay,
we
but at
know
least that's a humbling experience. That means he
exactly,
hungry. He can come into that college,
exactly,
playing his ass off. Cause
exactly.
just
Bryce James, bro. Shout out to Bryce James. We're gonna be eyes on Arizona this year.
is it is it
Eyes on
really?
Arizona this year.
Because like I like from what I've seen in the past, Arizona's had very very much respect from everybody when it comes to basketball. But I just think them taking Bryce James is probably one of not the dumbest things they could have did, just like one of the most I don't know. I guess just unprofessional decisions they could have made
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you don't know what you're getting out of Bryce James. We don't know if we're getting like potential
That's true. That's
superstardom
true.
or we getting 15th man on the roster.
That's
Like
crazy. That's crazy.
because it's like, bro, I don't it's like just because your last name James don't mean you good at basketball.
That is true. That is
And
true.
we've seen it tons of times with Jordan's kids. Jordan's sons were terrible at
That's
basketball.
true. That's
And
true.
they played good in high school. They were high recruits. Especially what Marcus Jordan.
Marcus
Yes, he was a
Jordan.
high
Yeah,
recruit in
he was high
high
recruit.
school. But he was in college for Colorado, right?
I don't know what. I think he
I think it
he
was
went to
Colorado.
some weird school.
I
I
think it
don't
was
know.
Colorado.
Maybe.
But I gotta fact check that. But he in college, he wasn't too good.
Yeah.
he wasn't that good, and but he still he still stayed in college and got his degree, and that's
Respect.
what I want
Respect.
for Bryce James. Like
That's what I want for
don't
Cayenne too. If I don't see that NBA potential after this year, stay in school, bro, and don't transfer here, there, and everywhere. If you want to transfer from Syracuse after this year, go to a program where you could grow. That's what we need kids to do. Go to a program where you could grow, and then you could also get that piece of paper at the end of your time.
yeah, because like at the end of the day, it's like these people are paying for you to go to this school, and
Exactly.
like I know they want you to play basketball, but at the same time, it's like you're 19, 20. You be a kid, like be a
Exactly.
college kid, enjoy
Exactly.
your college years. Because look, like just like Melo, he was one of the dudes that said he didn't want to leave college because of how fun it
Exactly.
was. The
Exactly.
environment, the atmosphere, being around younger adults. Finding how who you were. But like Melo, he got forced to
Yeah,
he
he
got
kind of
forced
he
to
got forced
commit
out,
to the
man.
draft.
He got
But
forced out, and also Melo had another Hall of Fame coach in Jim Boeheim. There's not a lot of Hall of Fame coaches in the NCAA right now, except the teams I named: Dan Hurley, UConn, um,
Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino, St. John's, Houston. I think Kelvin Sampson, my bad, and then like UCLA's coach, Hall of Fame one. So there's these other guys like Duke, Coach K. Coach K has a legacy, so it's hard to fill those shoes. And they're still Duke University, so they're getting good basketball players. But man, it's crazy out here.
Yeah. This
Um,
the college scene is in my opinion is hard to watch compared to just even like a few years ago
yeah,
because like you got ever since NIL, I feel like NIL has definitely ruined the college experience in terms of watching
it
basketball
did, it did.
because now a program that is bad but has a lot of money can get
Hmm.
anybody that they want,
Exactly,
and it's like what happened to just like playing basketball for the love of the game.
exactly.
And
That's what college supposed to be about.
it definitely is, and it's just like this year it's like all right, boom, you're giving these young kids all this money, and now it's like boom, we need to see some talent with that money because
Exactly.
if I'm not seeing no talent, they shouldn't even
Exactly,
be
and that's the
considered
that's
to
the
be
big
drafted.
argument. That's a big argument coming to like when you covering a college game and like you being you being mad harsh on these students. Well, it's like yeah, I'm being harsh on these students, but they're also getting paid. So does that make them professional? It kind of does if you're getting paid all this money. You know what I'm saying? But to go back to Arizona, they had a lot of problems in recent time. I know they for some reason they always try to get famous athletes' sons. So like Sharif O'Neal tried to go there. They had a problem. This was before NIL. They had a problem with like tampering and getting under the table money and stuff. So he decommitted from there. But it's funny to me because now they got Bryce James, and it's like they're not their basketball organization is like all right, but for some reason they're trying to get like big time names for some reason. It just made me when you said that. So I don't know. Arizona, they need to do something with that. They need to do something with that. So, but yeah, man, crazy out here.
Yeah, man. This like I feel like I feel like NIL definitely needs some more restrictions on how these players get paid, and 'cause I feel like if you add these restrictions and make them work for the money and not just give it to them because of their name,
Nah, for real.
it'll bring back somewhat close to what we had back in early 2010s, late 2000s.
They could definitely
You
do that.
know, and because a lot of these kids are super talented. It's just it sucks because there's so many dudes that are probably more talented than them that actually love to play basketball, that want to learn, that want to get better, that aren't getting recruited because their names aren't as big or aren't as famous because to the media it's like,
Yeah,
who the hell are you?
I'll say this. I'll say what NIL, right? NIL and a transfer portal. Transfer portal is good because obviously everybody wants to, go somewhere and play and get all the minutes. But when you're using the portal as like free agency basically, just to get the most money, that's where it needs to be restrictions. Cause like I think John Calipari or Dan Hurley said at their exit interview last year in the tournament, said like half their team was already in the portal. So I feel like they need to have restrictions. One, you can't enter the portal until after the NCAA tournament is done. That way, you from like April all the way through the summer, you could get evaluated and all that. And two, they need to restrictions on how much money. Name, image, and likeness was supposed to be I'm like a well known name on this campus in this state. Let me go somewhere and get money. Not the school will give you money. So that needs to be restricted too. Because like if I'm a athlete at UConn and I'm like well known, all this Instagram followers, let me go somewhere in Connecticut, go to like the local Dunkin' and get it like an advertisement or something like that. That's what it was supposed to be like. So they definitely needs to be restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But with that being said, back to AJ Devanza. Who do you feel like he plays like, or his comparison?
All right. I feel like you can't compare him to KD. In my opinion, I feel like you can more compare him to another dude that was compared to has a similar game to KD, and that's Michael Beasley.
Mm.
And
Mm. Oh, whoa, time out. Michael Beasley.
yes, only because
Whoa,
like offensively, just like Bees, he knows how to handle the rock. He talks with that attitude. He carries himself. He carries himself like he knows he's good. Like he's going to do everything he can do to prove that how good he is.
but do you
And
know who
scoring,
who college Michael Beasley was?
yes,
He was him. I don't think he AJ DeBenta is him.
yeah, but I'm saying the game is similar. Scoring
Oh,
wise, he can shoot, get to the rack. The mid range is not that bad. He can definitely use a little work
but
on
still,
it.
but Mike Beasley, he was fluid with it. Like it was poetry in motion.
Yeah,
AJ DeBanta is more like stiff. He just looks stiff. Like that 30 point was stiff. So that's a crazy comparison.
no, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that too bad. I've heard worse. I've
Yeah,
heard
that is true.
like,
But Mike Beasley was that dude, bro.
but fine. If you want to say he plays stiff, then there's a lot of college players NBA
stiff.
players who were in college that played stiff. You know, Kawhi Leonard was a little stiff when he was
He's
in.
still stiff.
He's still
He's
stiff,
still
yes.
stiff.
He's still
He's
stiff, but
still
I ain't
stiff.
comparing AJ to Benson to one of the greatest defenders of
Nah.
all time.
Yeah, nah. I
You
don't know.
know, damn, Kim. I mean, I mean, in terms of athleticism and like the way he can dunk, hell, you can compare him to Paul George because Paul George,
You
when he was
could.
first when in college, you know, he had a similar game. It was kind of smooth, but he still played a little stiff.
Yeah,
He can like he can score, but you know, he mainly his athleticism, in my opinion, is what got him through college.
that's true.
And AJ DeBanza definitely uses his athleticism a little more. That's why I don't know why to
That
compare him to KD because KD, athletic wise, he athletic, but like that's not what you know about KD. You know
that's
about
true.
the ball
That's
handling, the
true.
one dribble pull up, the hun. You know, like
Nah, for real.
that's not AJ DeBance's game.
I'll say this. I'll say this brings me back to my point I said earlier where he plays stiff. So I feel like he should stay in college. Don't go that one and done route. Because think about all the greats, right? Paul George, like you just mentioned, Dame Lillard, like they was all stiff in college. But they stayed like 2, 3 years. Like Paul George, I think was like I think he stayed like 2 years or something like that.
Two
And he
years
got that he got that rhythm, you know what I'm saying? Clay Thompson too. He was stiff.
still.
Yeah, he's still a little stiff too, but he got that rhythm. Like that it's all about finding that rhythm as a ball player cuz you could handle the rock, you could do all that like nice stuff, you could jump through the air, but it's all about having that rhythm within the game. And I feel like AJ Devanza need to work on that.
Yeah.
So, but what about Kanye Anthony? We know what his dad did at Syracuse, the greatest one and done season ever. So
He
Kanye,
don't play like Melo,
he don't play like Melo.
which is what I love. He
Yeah,
don't play
that's
like Melo.
facts. And Melo will beat him 10 out of 10 times anyway. So
In college, yeah, yeah.
college pros, any now, what?
Of
What?
course now, because the
Nah,
motherfucker know how to play ball for real.
any version of Melo is killing his
He,
little son, bro. Like what?
all right, but Kanye Anthony, in my opinion, he played. I don't know who they gonna compare him to in the league, but it's definitely hard to compare him.
It
But
ain't
I
his
feel
dad
like
though.
he plays similar to probably like I don't even know.
It's hard.
It's
So
hard.
Kayan's favorite player is Paul
Paul George,
George.
he the goat apparently there.
I need to meet him. We need to have a talk about that because Paul George is no goat. But hey, this these millennials, you know what I'm saying? They
You mean
he
Gen Z?
Gen Z, yeah, Gen Z. I'm a millennial, my
We are Gen Z, 2004.
1984.
No,
1984. Nah, but he it's hard to say Paul George, but maybe that's the only thing popping in my head because of all the moves he got. He got the snatch, step back. He got the get downhill. He's hezzy pull. Well, he got the hezzy pull from Melo, but you know. So well, it's gonna be fun to see. Um, I like that Melo or told Cayenne like if you're not ready after the first year, you're not going to the league. So that's good. We need more guidance and mentors like that. So I want Cayenne to stay, like I said earlier. So
yeah. Well, hey, actually, we coming to an end in this
yeah,
episode. It probably wasn't. It's probably not our best episode, but that's because the college is hard to talk about because of so many one and duns
yeah,
and so many transfers. It's like
yeah.
it's changing what it feels like every
Yeah.
day. So like it's hard to really give your opinion. Um,
Like I say
but
all the time, like interact with the Instagram page. Tell it like let us know who you guys want us to talk about the teams in terms of college or players in terms of college. Like it's
um,
all good.
who are some recruits you feel like we should have brought up that we didn't?
Yeah,
Because there's is what basketball is how many college players like
bro. There's
three
so many.
thousand.
Yeah, there's so many college
And
players.
only 60 of them getting
Exactly,
drafted,
exactly.
and
There's college.
30 of
There's
them probably staying on the team.
exactly,
It's like
exactly.
basketball is such a global phenomenon, and it's like it's hard to break it down, especially like now with international players are getting
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
It's like we not. I
Yeah,
don't.
it's hard. It's
We
hard to
can't even
break
talk
down.
about international players.
Exactly. Exactly. It's hard to break down college because, like you said, like these players are moving around now, so it's not really teams that are sticking together and really making runs. So, but yeah,
Um,
college. I'm gonna be focusing on UConn. So I'm gonna be watching almost every game. Big East, St. John's, and UConn is it's a rivalry, dates back like 30 plus years. So I'm gonna be watching them. So
And then I'll be trying to get my knowledge up with with this year's basketball teams because I just had to focus on the NBA real quick last night because that
oh
double
yeah, all right.
overtime.
Let's get into it real quick. I That game was good. I'll give it to him. It was good. It was a lot of defense being played. OKC was rusty. They was off. That's my takeaway from it. And then two, Houston, that all tall lineup is not going to work.
No,
It does not look good. KD, I don't want to start a narrative, but like he kind of ruined the flow of the offense from last year in Houston because him playing like and they don't have no guard. I'll give it to them. They don't have a guard. They didn't play Reed Shepard how I thought they was, but
he's not good at basketball. Man.
Reed Shepard,
He not good at NBA
he
basketball.
not good, bro.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. He took some of the dumbest. All right, we can't even get into it now because we
Yeah, all
like
right.
let's get
That's the
into this
next
next
episode.
week.
Yeah, yeah. But those are my takeaways. Like I think KD kind of ruined the flow of the Houston offense. So I did like to see on defense Houston was playing zone when KD was on the bench. Or no, he was in the game when he played zone. They did it was two possessions. They did 2-3 and then they went 3-2. However, they wasn't playing it right. I would have used it how Miami did it in the bubble against the Celtics. So that's something they need to work on, and I want them to do it more frequently. So
but I'm gonna give my takes next week. Uh, to end off, like I said, next week we are bringing on our first guest host, so be prepared for that.
yes, sir.
This is Locker Room Logic. I'm Charles Cannon,
I'm Matt Kane.
and
Like, comment, subscribe. We out.